Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. My name is Sister Nicolette Hodge. I am a prophetess, standing with and representing Master Suleiman. He is the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, and the crusher. Welcome. We are going to have a very simple conversation about our vision, the Abrahamic covenant. Brothers and sisters, you must understand that you have already paid the price for your reward as promised to you. We're going to get right into it. This is found in Genesis. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. In that day God made a covenant with Abraham, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Brothers and sisters, this is our contract. This is our agreement that we made with Allah. The Abrahamic covenant says that we will be sojourners in a land that is not ours. Understand that sojourners means temporary. And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them. That's two different things. That's slavery and the Holocaust. Not only were we enslaved, we were also dehumanized and persecuted. That's what the Holocaust is. For 400 years. That 400-year time period lasted from 1619 to 2019. 2020 came in with a plague, signaling that the judgment of the European nations had already started. They have not been able to shake this plague since it hit them, and it is passing over us, God's chosen people, and knocking out the European Caucasians that the plague was sent for, and their black-faced children, the demons. And so the 400-year time period was from 1619 to 2019. And in the fourth generation, they shall come hither again. In the 400th year, we are in the fourth generation right now, brothers and sisters. Come hither again. Hither means return. And then the Abrahamic covenant clearly outlines where our land is. Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The land that's in between those two rivers is Arabia, our promised land, North Africa. Now, we already have paid the price, brothers and sisters. We submitted to these European Caucasians. They stripped us of everything, all knowledge of self, our language, our closeness with each other. They stripped that away from us by putting the demons on us. They raped us consistently, perpetually, non-stop. Massa was trying to rape our original seed out of existence. That is so sick. That's genocide. That's not slavery. That's the Holocaust. And as we have explained several times before, us sisters had to work overtime to sneak and procreate and keep our original nation afloat. And here we are today. And so what they want to do, and what they have been trying to do, is whitewashing our experience and sweeping it under the rug, putting us in the same category as everyone on the planet who has been enslaved. No one on the planet has been through the Holocaust but the original black man and woman right here in North America. And so it's so clear the time period that we are in. You cannot deny the facts of what's going on, brothers and sisters. And so, brothers and sisters, the Abrahamic covenant is our complete vision. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad told you that we are living out Exodus, and that we are God's chosen people. We are the true seed of Abraham. The Supreme Lessons clearly states that we have preserved the best part of the planet Earth for ourselves, Arabia, and that North America is the worst part of the planet Earth. understand that during this time period of Elijah teaching us, he taught us how to do for self. He turned us into a strong, mighty army in which our enemies respected us and would not dare touch a hair on the sister's head, period. Elijah Muhammad had us doing for self, got us up off the swine, and started preparing us for the one who was to come after him, the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Master Suleiman, who is certifying us and leading us home to the promised land. Now, the devils and demons were plotting on Elijah Muhammad's life. So Master Farad Muhammad had to take him. Elijah Muhammad is alive and well, and he will be returning. Elijah Muhammad was preaching that we are the true seed of Abraham from the 1930s all the way up until 1975 when he was taken. His reign lasted for 40 years, just like Exodus says. Very clear. And so, from the 1930s until 1975, that was the consistent message of the Nation of Islam. And in 1948, Christ was conceived, Master Suleiman, which forced the conception, because understand, every action has an opposite and equal reaction. So the action controls the reaction. Christ, Master Suleiman, was conceived in 1948, and that action controlled and caused the reaction of the Antichrist being conceived in 1948 as well. The Antichrist is false Israel. America and Britain went and established false Israel over in the Holy Land. They stole a country from the Palestinians, have been bullying them ever since, working overtime to keep the Palestinians under their thumb and keep them from having any type of strength whatsoever. And America and Britain established false Israel over in the Middle East. And they have been lying ever since, saying that they are God's chosen people and that they are the seed of Abraham. They claim that all these things happened 2,000 years ago, so why did they pop up in 1948? You got to start drawing these connections, brothers and sisters, because it's very simple once you start looking at things mathematically. They put false Israel over in the Middle East to counter the narrative that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching, that we are the true seed of Abraham. Do you understand how empowering it is knowing our true identity as God's chosen people, and that we have an entire country that we have preserved for ourselves? These devils cannot have us walking around knowing that we have an inheritance. And so they stole our identity. False Jews. Now, during this time period of Elijah Muhammad being on the scene, he chose a spokesman. Legion Louis Eugene Grounds is his birth name, who has turned the Nation of Islam backwards. He is the chief demon, hypocrite, and liar. Elijah Muhammad did not see himself as an eloquent speaker, and so he wanted a mouthpiece that would speak for him or help him speak. Master Farad Muhammad was not in agreement with it. However, Elijah Muhammad insisted, and so he was allowed to have Louis Farrakhan as his spokesman. Louis Farrakhan is Aaron of Exodus. Now, the Supreme Lessons tell you that a devil cannot be reformed. Farrakhan is a perfect example of that, because while he was in Elijah Muhammad's presence, he pretended to be in agreement with the teachings. He was plotting against the messenger the whole time. When the messenger departed in 1975, Farrakhan, as the head spokesman, allowed Warith Deen in, who was exiled from the nation at the time for pushing Sunniism, which is completely against all the teachings and everything that we stand for. The Sunnis are our enemies. They do not recognize Master Fard Muhammad as our God. They do not recognize Elijah Muhammad as our messenger. Warith Deen was away from us in the Nation of Islam for that Sunnism BS. Once the messenger departed, Farrakhan allowed Warith Deen in. They worked together to dissolve all $80 million of our assets. Farrakhan thought he was getting this cut, this big old cut. He didn't get nothing. He went into hiding. He resurfaced in 1980, calling himself the Anointed One, and went on to deceive the Levites for the next 42 years, just as Aaron of Exodus did. Had Elijah's followers walking around in the wilderness, running around the wilderness, not knowing their right hand from their left hand. And so, what did Farrakhan do? His first order of business was to bring devils into the Nation of Islam. He told us not to call devils devils anymore, to accept them as our brothers and sisters. You need to understand that Farrakhan himself is a devil in black skin. He's been passing all this time. As our sister prophetess had explained, Farrakhan has been passing as original, or as what you think is black, because you don't even understand what black is. Either you're original or you're not. And so Farrakhan has been passing all this time as one of us because he is in black skin. You must understand that you are the seed of your father. Our fathers determine our nature, period. You cannot get around that. Doesn't matter who your mother is. You are the seed of your father. And so Farrakhan's father is a Portuguese false Jew who raped his black mother and forced her to carry his seed. She tried to abort Farrakhan several times and was not successful. Farrakhan was put in place by the FBI as an informant to dismantle and destroy the Nation of Islam. And you can go check out the FBI counterintelligence program. Farrakhan has checked off everything on that list. And so once Farrakhan resurfaced in 1980, declaring himself as the Anointed One, he started his 42-year reign, just as Exodus outlines. So from 1980 until 2022, Farrakhan's first order of business was to bring devils into the Nation of Islam. He turned the Nation of Islam over to Sunnism. He has those in the Nation of Islam worshiping the golden calf. He has the so-called FOI down on their hands and knees 5 times a day praying to some mystery god. He has brought in Scientology, which is more devils. Ron L. Hubbard with the Dianetics and Auditing, where you tell all your business, all your deep, dark secrets to this auditor. They got you hooked up to something that's very similar to a lie detector. It can detect your different heart rate and whatnot, and they know if you're withholding information or, if you're holding back and whatnot, and you have to pay to keep your information private, these auditing sessions. All of this BS is completely against the teachings. For one, how are you walking around saying that you God of the universe, but you got to go sit down with this devil to get so-called trauma up off of you, to get things off of your chest? And so he's brought in this Scientology, Dianetics, Auditing, all this BS. He's bought in Masonry. And on top of that, he has been saying for the past 42 years that we ain't going anywhere. He has been refusing to read the last line of the Abrahamic covenant that clearly states where our land is, in between the great river of Egypt and the river Euphrates, which our land is Arabia. Farrakhan's message for the past 42 years is that we're staying here. Another thing, he's been lying about an economic program for the past 42 years, in which he has been sucking our pockets dry and stealing that money, using it to live his lavish lifestyle. Farrakhan's net worth is $3 to $5 billion. $3 to $5 million. That's not the Nation of Islam's net worth. Understand that the Nation of Islam's net worth used to be $80 million before him and Warif Deen dissolved all of our assets. Farrakhan does not have a job. $3 to $5 million is still quite a bit of money. Where is all that money coming from? He does not work. He's been sucking money off the Levites for the past 42 years, and he's getting paid off by all of our enemies. And so, Farrakhan's reign is over. 42 years lasted from 1980 to 2022. Farrakhan has his student ministers, and Ishmael, as Farrakhan's top student minister, has been preaching the same message as Farrakhan, that we ain't going anywhere, saying that we ain't going back to Africa, we're going to inherit America. Lying, saying that come out of her means, the scripture where it says come out of her my people, he's saying that means come out of their ways, come out of their pagan holidays, come out of their institutions. No, that means complete and total separation. Not 6 states and reparations like Farrakhan and Lion Ishmael has been pushing on us. Not any of that. Complete and total separation. We have our own land, our own country, Arabia. Why would you want to stay on the land of your imprisonment? Just think about that. So many things wrong with reparations. For one, this land does not belong to these devils to give away to anyone, period. They came and stole this land from the inhabitants of this land, which they call Native Americans. And so they're trying to give us a stolen land. What would happen if the inhabitants of this land requested it back from us? That would make us no different from the devils who stole the land from them, because at that point, we're taking stolen merchandise. So that would make us wrong. Not only that, the Abrahamic covenant is our reward, it's our promise, it's our payment. So if you accept another form of payment, then you have already given up your part of the Abrahamic covenant. That's why Farrakhan has pushed Sunniism on you. Because what you're saying, you're a Sunni, understand that the Ishmaelites do not get the inheritance. The inheritance goes to Isaac, not Ishmael. And so what you claiming all this Sunniism BS, you are writing yourself out of your own reward. And another thing, they did reparations back in the 1860s. It didn't last for more than, 6 months? Before another devil came along and said, no, we're not giving all these black people all this land and whatnot. And they came and snatched us up off of the so-called land that they had given us and threw our behinds right back on the plantation. You considering 6 states. How does that make any sense, brothers and sisters? That's nothing but 6 prison cells within a prison. That's like saying, I'm going to move. I don't want to live in the house with these devils. I'm going to move down the block. You still here on the same land with them. Furthermore, the messenger already told you that America is going to be destroyed. And Farrakhan knows that. So if we're here and America is going to be destroyed, what's going to happen to us? If Farrakhan truly believed that we were supposed to be staying here, why hasn't he built anything? Why has he been stealing for 42 years of this economic program lie? He's full of crap, brothers and sisters. And so I'm going to play a video for you all, because the Nation of Islam has been saying that we ain't going anywhere. They have been saying the same thing as Farrakhan. And they are under extreme pressure of the little rock, the little stone that crushes all nations, Master Suleiman, who is armed with the most powerful weapon, the angel, which is our God mind. And so the angel is our guide. It gives us a play-by-play in each war that is directly related in our deliverance home to the promised land. It even speaks about a war that's going to take place once we get home to the promised land. And the messenger of the covenant, Master Suleiman, is the one who is bringing us the Abrahamic covenant and certifying us and leading us home to the promised land. Master Suleiman has been on post for 30 plus years, teaching us for free, giving us this knowledge and wisdom and not asking for a dime, period. And that's another thing. But let me stay focused, brothers and sisters. I'll come back to that point. However, has not asked for a dime, period. Same consistent message. We are the true seed of Abraham. The false Jews have stolen our identity. They will be exposed. False Israel is going to be destroyed. The whole world will realize that we are the true seed of Abraham. He has given us details on these different wars that are going to take place. The abomination of desolation, that's one war. The war of Armageddon is another war. The demon war, that's another war taking place. The China and India flood. And the entire mission of Master Suleiman is getting us home to the promised land, Arabia. Scriptures gives you a detailed description of what the Son of Man would look like so that you are not deceived. He would have hair like lamb's wool. He would be physically healthy. Farrakhan doesn't have hair like lamb's wool. Farrakhan is disemboweled and in a wheelchair, waiting for his nurse to come change his diaper. He can't lead us anywhere. And remember, he's been saying that we ain't going anywhere. So now all of a sudden, the Nation of Islam is saying that we are going back to Africa. After all this time, they're saying that we ain't going anywhere. And I'm going to play these videos for you a couple of times so you can hear it for yourself.
With knowledge and wisdom, make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You out here make it. Surely you ain't talking about us packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays where you should be honoring Jesus. You out here.
All right, brothers and sisters, you heard it for yourself. For the past 42 years, Farrakhan and his student ministers have been preaching this lie that we ain't going anywhere. Saying that we ain't going back to Africa, trying to downplay our land, talking about there's no city or towns or infrastructure. Ishmael has no clue what he's even talking about. And what you need to understand is we have the richest land on the planet. We are going to be building our personal paradise once we get home. There's quite a bit already built for us already. That's another conversation. However, understand that for the past 42 years, Farrakhan has been saying that we ain't going anywhere, that we are supposed to be inheriting America, even though the supreme lessons clearly state that this is the worst part of the planet Earth. Farrakhan's 42-year reign lasted from 1980 to 2022. Yesterday, in the NOI broadcast, they made a complete turnaround from what they have been saying about us returning home. Just a few weeks ago, that's where this video is from. You can go check the Nation of Islam website. Just a few weeks ago, Ishmael said out of his own mouth, we ain't going back to Africa. Yesterday, he made a complete turnaround and said that we are going back to Africa. And so I'm going to let you hear it, brothers and sisters, and then I'll be back.
Elijah Muhammad has said that Almighty God, Allah, revealed to him that the black people of America are the real children of Israel. And we are the choice of God. And that unto us he will deliver his promise. And what is your promise, Lord? I am going to deliver you out from the hands of your oppressors. I'm going to fill you with knowledge and wisdom and understanding. You're going to go back to your fathers, meaning going back to Africa where we came. And you're going to go in peace. Elijah Muhammad has said that Almighty God, Allah, revealed to him that the black people of America are the real children of Israel. And we are the choice of God. And that unto us he will deliver his promise. And what is your promise, Lord? I am going to deliver you out from the hands of your oppressors. I'm going to fill you with knowledge and wisdom and understanding. You're going to go back to your fathers, meaning going back to Africa where we came. And you're going to go in peace.
All right, brothers and sisters, you heard it for yourself. Ishmael said we are going to go back to Africa, back from where we came. Understand that this is a victory, brothers and sisters, because this bears witness that Master Suleiman and us Indra warriors are causing these events to take place. We are the action that controls the reaction. The Nation of Islam is under severe fire and pressure. And they have people asking them questions because they've been saying we ain't going anywhere. And our brothers and sisters have been questioning, what is it that we hearing about this reward and this inheritance? Farrakhan has been saying that we're sinful. Our people want to know, why is it that they're hearing that we're not sinful and that we already paid the price for our reward? And so they're on the defense over there. They are responding to us. And it's just so amazing to watch how everything is unfolding, brothers and sisters, because Farrakhan's 42 years are up. And now Ishmael is saying we're going back home. So he's told the truth about that, finally. Are they going to tell the truth about who the demons are the devils in black skin, which will automatically expose Farrakhan as the chief demon and hypocrite that he is? Are they going to tell the truth to our people about what's been going on for the past 42 years? And all of Farrakhan's ties and dealings with the FBI and these different political parties and whatnot? Is all of those other things about to come out as well? Farrakhan has been lying. He has not spoken any prophecy whatsoever. He says that the War of Armageddon has already started. By definition, that's a report. A prophet tells you about future events before they take place. A reporter reports events of the past that has already happened. Farrakhan says the War of Armageddon has already started. He has no clue what the War of Armageddon is. And not only that, the War of Armageddon does not take place until after the Abomination of Desolation. The Abomination of Desolation is also known as the Shock of the Hour. When our God, Master Farad Muhammad, Iran and Syria, our Shia brothers, uproot and annihilate false Israel from over in the Middle East. It will be revealed to the whole world that the original black man and woman right here in North America is the true seed of Abraham and always has been. America, Britain, and the House of Saud are getting kicked out the Middle East first. That's how false Israel is going under siege. All right, and once they go under siege, they're going to resort to cannibalism. They're not getting any resources in or out. The whole world will bear witness to the barbaric beast that these devils are, and false Israel will be destroyed. And it's an example of what's coming here to America next. As soon as America and Britain get kicked out the Middle East, remember the House of Saud got kicked out as well. The oil pipeline is getting cut off. That means immediate famine for America. America is going to blame Russia as to the reason why they lost the war over in the Middle East. They will not tell the truth about our wills, which they call UFOs. Our wills are going to dismantle their nuclear weapons. America is not going to tell the truth about that. They're going to blame it on Russia. That's going to automatically spiral them into the War of Armageddon. It is a European war that is localized and will take place in Europe. That's what the War of Armageddon is. Not what you see taking place in the Ukraine. That is not the War of Armageddon. Okay? And so, yes, the European nations are heating up. And yes, they are in conflict with each other. However, it has not reached a head just yet. Farrakhan has no clue about any of that. He's saying the War of Armageddon has already started. He has no clue that there's a war that takes place before that. And that's what you really need to be focused on right now, brothers and sisters, because when false Israel goes under siege, you are supposed to be fleeing to the designated safety locations that we have already shared with you, and we will get into it in more detail. However, the point of the matter is, brothers and sisters, you have to start asking questions and seeking understanding so that you can be prepared. Because if you're not preparing to be successful, you're preparing to fail. And so the War of Armageddon will take place after the Abomination of Desolation. However, the Abomination of Desolation is what you need to be focused on right now, because that can happen any day now. Master Farad Muhammad makes the first move. He starts the war. And so Farrakhan's talking about the War of Armageddon has already started, but you have to wait till the end of this month to figure out how you're about to save your family's life. Now, what kind of crap is that? He's up here lying, saying that he's our brother. That's a bunch of hogwash. He's a demon, a devil in black skin. He is our enemy. He's saying that he's our brother. What kind of brother would stand by and not warn you about something that he's saying he could clearly see? What kind of brother sees that you're about to get stabbed in the back and won't warn you? He is our enemy. He is a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's why he is trying to set us up for failure. He knows that America is about to be destroyed. He thinks that he has a way of securing himself when everything hits the fan. Farrakhan is about to go down, and he's going down hard. And you need to understand that these devils are going to tear him to shreds and devour him. For one, all blacks are considered food. They kept the 3/5 human clause in the U.S. Constitution. And once famine strikes America, all bets are off. These devils have not missed a meal in nearly 500 years. And so, all blacks will be fleeing. However, we are going to cast the demons out and send them back to America. Brothers and sisters, we are in the time period of unprecedented trouble. That means anything can happen at any time. And so, Master Suleiman not only has given us a play-by-play in great detail, taught us how to read the scriptures for ourselves, provided the angel key so that we can verify the information on our own. However, he's also given us our protection. The 5 fundamental mathematical pillars of Islam. It's our shield. It's our bulletproof vest to keep us from perishing during this time period of unprecedented trouble. Understand that our nature of discipline is what the 5 fundamental mathematical pillars are. And so we have knowledge on how it is that we firm our hearts to keep us from being in the heart zone, so that we're constantly thinking rationally instead of irrationally, and thinking logically. And so we do that by firming our hearts. We understand that for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So we're very careful about the things that we do. We're very conscientious. We understand how fasting can help you maximize your energy and keep you healthy. We understand what charity is, given to those who have less, which is something that we naturally do. And Hajj, which is harmonic motion. No conflict with each other. We have different perspectives. However, we have the same vision and one end goal. And it takes effort and discipline to reach harmonic motion. Farrakhan cannot teach you any of these things. He cannot give you any type of protection whatsoever. Master Suleiman has covered every base, literally. Given us our weapons, our greatest weapon, which is our mind, back through the angel. Given us our shield of protection, the 5 pillars of Islam. Gave us our vision back, which is the Abrahamic covenant and its return home to our promised land. Because scriptures tell you people without a vision will perish. And for the sisters, he has empowered us for us to reclaim our beauty. And for the brothers, he has empowered the brothers for you all to reclaim your strength. And we do that through gaining our discipline back, returning to our nature of discipline. And so, brothers and sisters, you have nothing to worry about. As long as you are taking heed of these warnings and the knowledge and information that's being given, because your brain is calculating this information as it's being given to you. You might say, oh, I don't want to hear that, but your brain is calculating and mathematically trying to work through what's being brought to it. And so when all of these events hit the fan and whatnot, you're going to step into the mind zone very quickly. And you're going to think to yourself, I've heard this. I'm familiar with what's going on. And you're going to think back to this information that's been being given consistently by Master Suleiman and us Indra warriors. And so I will be back with more brothers and sisters. Thank you for having me. Assalamu alaikum.